With The Last of Us Season 2 in full swing and crazy episodes so far, people are starting to ask, what about the video game side? Will we ever see Last of Us Part 3? Well, that's the question. What if it's already being made and Naughty Dog just isn't telling us about it? What if pieces of the story are already written, characters planned, and early development is quietly happening behind the scenes right now? I mean, because according to leaks, insider scoops, and even a few subtle quotes from Neil Druckmann himself, that might be the case. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos. I mean, what would the story look like? Would Ellie return? Would Abby? And what if a brand new character is about to take center stage? Well, today we are breaking down everything here on the channel. The confirmed news, the craziest leaks, the theories about the plot, and where the franchise could go after the emotional wreckage of Part 2. So whether you loved it or hated it, or you're just curious about where the next Last of Us goes, stick around. This one's going to be a very deep dive. Drop a like, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, turn on those notifications, and let's get started. Let's start with the facts. In multiple interviews, including one with GQ in early 2023, Neil Druckmann confirmed a story outline for The Last of Us Part 3, and that it's already been written. He called it a very meaningful story to him and hinted that it could absolutely become a game. So if the story is compelling enough to justify that, well, we're on the track. We're ready to go. He also said Naughty Dog has chosen its next game project, though he did not confirm whether that would be The Last of Us 3 or a rumored brand new IP. So officially, there's no development confirmation. But internally, the story does exist, which is a huge win for Last of Us fans, and just with the hope that we are going to continue this saga. Now, let's talk about some leaks, real or fake here. The juiciest leak so far came from a Reddit post, later supported by Twitter leaker viewer Anon, someone who has leaked accurate The Walking Dead show info before. And according to them, Part 3 will feature a new protagonist named Lucas, a scavenger leading a group in the post-Fireflies world. But other insiders, like Daniel RPK, say Ellie is still going to be the main lead, with Abby also returning. So, who's right? Well, they could both be right. And it could touch a lot of pieces of a puzzle. Early drafts and test concepts or even side narratives. I mean, until Indy speaks, these leaks are not gospel, we know that. But they could hint at where the story's heading. And I think it makes sense to bring in another protagonist. And I think it also makes sense to make that protagonist a male. So then if you have Ellie still involved, you have that contrasting style between the two. And that doesn't even start to kind of make you wonder where Abby fits into this loop. Now, when could it actually release? Let's be real. This game isn't coming anytime soon. If Naughty Dog is in pre-production, which we're hoping they are, we're likely looking at a probably 2027 release at the very earliest. I mean, that's ambitious, probably more like 2028 or beyond. They've reportedly shelved the Last of Us Factions multiplayer game that we heard about in the past, which likely freed up some resources, but they're also rumored to be working on a brand new IP. So that means Part 3 could still be years away, but groundwork could already be underway. I revert back to Neil Druckmann and his story that he really likes. Now, Sony is known for giving its studios time to cook, and Druckmann is nothing if not meticulous. Now let's talk about the theories, the plot, the timeline, and story-wise we're at a fork in the road. The Last of Us 2 ended with Ellie isolated, broken, possibly ready to leave violence behind. So what would be next? Well, the redemption arc. Ellie may seek atonement by helping others or protecting something worth saving. Maybe Abby and Lev could lead a Firefly resurgence, perhaps even reconnecting with Ellie under some strained circumstances. Or we could get a time jump. Could push the story years ahead, showing Ellie as an older adult, haunted, possibly mentoring younger survivors. Think of it like a passing of the torch narrative built around emotional closure and legacy. No matter what direction they go, you can expect the story to stay deeply personal and morally gray, just how The Last of Us fans like it. Now, everybody will always want to know about characters, new faces, who's returning, and who the new characters would be. Well, Ellie returning is a no-brainer. Ashley Johnson's performance is iconic, and her story still feels unfinished. Abby and Lev's ending was open-ended for a reason. There's fertile ground here to explore. Will they lead the Fireflies again? Are they chasing peace, or are they just chasing survival? I mean, Dina and JJ, Ellie's son, could become emotional centerpieces. Imagine Ellie trying to rebuild something for JJ while battling her own past. We could also meet totally new survivors in a different city or a different region, experiencing how other communities have evolved or collapsed. 20 plus years after the outbreak, that would be an interesting time in the franchise. It would be a good place to tell some stories. I mean, who will we play as, though? That's usually a big question. Some say a new protagonist like Lucas may act as the audience surrogate, with Ellie and Abby supporting as supporting cast. Others think Naughty Dog will return to the dual protagonist model from Part 2. But what if we got 3 intertwined arcs? Is that too much? I don't know. One following Ellie, one following Abby and Lev, and one totally new character whose life eventually connects with the other two in devastating ways. I think it's ambitious, but Naughty Dog's proven they like ambitious, and they could probably pull it off. I mean, since the 2020 leaks that spoiled The Last of Us 2, Naughty Dog has shut down communication tight. They're not announcing anything until it's bulletproof. The multiplayer factions game, well, it was officially paused in 2023, likely to reallocate resources to other projects. Insiders like Game Reactor say that Naughty Dog has been reorganizing, rebuilding, and laying the groundwork for something huge. So their silence, it's not a bad thing. It means that they're being very careful. Does it mean it's The Last of Us 3? I would think so, but I don't know. I really don't. It could be something completely brand new, and then we're left with nothing else in this. But then again, The Last of Us franchise is too big, too important for there not to be a continuation. Even if it was a spin-off game, we're going to get more in this IP. We are. There's no doubt about it. Now, let's recap. The rundown. Neil Druckmann has confirmed a story for The Last of Us 3 exists. Well, a story outline exists. Multiple leaks are suggesting a new character may join Ellie or even lead, and that new character allegedly could be a guy named Lucas. Development is likely in early stages right now. No earlier than 2027, but let's be real with each other, which we were earlier in the video. We're probably looking at 2028 or 2029 before we ever even get a chance to get our hands on this. But then again, we could get an announcement or a teaser in 2026. Themes, they could include redemption, they could be legacy, and they could be survival. So I would say this: expect the return of Ellie, expect the return of Abby and Lev and Dina, and maybe even JJ. Naughty Dog silence, well, that's strategic. I don't think that's a red flag at all. I think, like I said before, they got burned once. They are not going to be burned again. They're going to make sure that this is bulletproof. It's locked up. Nobody is going to find out what they have going on. The big question is, do you guys want a part 3? And if you do, what do you actually want to see from it? Drop a comment, let me know. Drop a like, make sure you're subscribed, turn on those notifications, take advantage of that PlayStation 5 giveaway that's pinned in the comments below. And if a trailer does drop, you know we're going to be breaking it down here on the channel frame by frame. There you have it, my friends. Hope you have a fantastic day. Let me know any other future games that you would like us to make content on and do videos for, and I'll see you soon.